Hi everyone, I am Pragati from First MSc Microbiology, Sacred Art College, Tirupattur. Here I am going to discuss about column chromatography. Column chromatography is a technique, a substance to be separate onto the top of a column packed with an adsorbent. It is passed through the column at different rates. It depends on affinity of each substance for the adsorbent and solvent mixture, usually collected in solution as they pass from the column at different times. It is maybe a solid or liquid technique. In stationary phase, it is a solid phase. In mobile phase, it is a liquid or gas. It was developed by American chemist D.T. Day in 19,000, while M.S. Sweats, the Polish botanist, 1906, used adsorption columns in his investigations of plant pigments. Principle. First, stationary phase. In stationary phase, material stays fixed within the column. Commonly in stationary phase include silica gel or aluminum, which interact differently with the compounds to be separated. Mobile phase. In mobile phase, solvent or mixture solvents moves through the column, carrying the compounds with it. The choice of solvent can significantly influence the separation. Separation mechanism. Compounds interact with stationary phase to varying degrees based on the chemical properties like polarity, size, charge, and etc. That interact more strongly with stationary phase will move more slowly, while those this weaker interaction move faster. The rate of the movement components is expressed as RF equal to the distance traveled by solution divided by the distance traveled by the solvent. Therefore, RF is the retardation factor. Steps and procedure. First, preparation of the column. Column mostly consists of glass tube pad with suitable stationary phase. A glass wool or cotton wool or an absorbable pad is placed on the bottom of the column before packing the stationary phase. After packing, a paper disc kept on the top. The stationary layer is not disturbed during the introduction of sample or mobile phase. There are two types of preparing column. First, dry packing or dry filling. It required quantity of adsorbent pour as finely dry powder in the column. Solvent is allowed to flow through the column till equilibrium is reached. Wet packing or wet filling. The slurry of adsorbent with mobile phase is prepared and poured into the column. It considered as ideal technique for packing. Before using column, it should be washed properly and dried it. Column should be free from impurity and uniformly filled with stationary phase. Introduction of sample. Sample is usually mixture of components is dissolved in minimum quantity of the mobile phase. The entire sample is introduced into the column at once and get adsorbed on the top portion of the column. From this zone, individual sample can be separated by a process of elution. Elution. Elution technique is individual components are separated out from the column. It can be achieved by two techniques. First, isocratic elution technique and gradient elution technique. Isocratic elution technique means same solvent composition or otherwise solvent of same polarity is used throughout the process of separation. Example, use of chloroform. And gradient elution technique. It is a solvent gradually increase of polarity or increase of elution strength used during the process of separation. Example, initially benzene, then chloroform, and then ethyl acetate, then chloroform. In this next slide, deduction of the components. If the compounds separate in a column chromatography procedure are colored, progress of the separation can simply monitored visually. Compounds should be isolated from column chromatography or colorless. In this case, some fractions of elute are collected sequentially and labeled into the tubes. The composition of each fraction is analyzed by thin layer chromatography. Application. The applications are separation of mixture compounds, removal of impurities or purification process, isolation of active constituents, isolation of metabolites from biological fluids, estimation of drugs in formulation or crude extracts. The next slide, advantages and limitation. Advantages, high resolution and efficiency, versatility in the choice of stationary and mobile phases, scalable from analytical to preparative quantities, and limitations. Time consuming compared to some other techniques, requires optimizations of conditions for effective separations, possible loss of sample due to interaction with the stationary phase. I hope you are all understand about the column chromatography, and thank you.